Well, we're 2 past the hour, so I'll get things started. Good afternoon or evening, or certain countries, morning. Yeah, you have one less reason to skip this stream now. Trying an earlier time slot, so those who are international or on the East Coast, it's a little easier to join. I'll give another minute. Yeah, I think we're good. It is on the schedule on twitch.tv and on the Civitai Discord. Should have the current or new time on there right now. But perhaps we'll add it to the new updates section as well. But I'll get started. May have a guest joining, but not sure. There's a few things we'll go through today, but I'll get started. So, hey, everybody, TGIF. My name is Cale, but, on site, you may know me as KF Tiger. And right now, you've tuned into the new time slot for the Friday Civitai Creative Community stream. If you meant to click on this, good job. If you happen to browse the homepage of the website and see this live and thought, hey, maybe I'll watch, sweet. Welcome aboard. If you're watching this on any of our social media, such as Twitter or X or LinkedIn, feel free to join on, either Twitch or watch it there. Comment. We can see it there anyways. This is the Creative Community stream, which is now the only stream. Now we've put out some new features, so the office hour streams are currently no more. Sorry, just waiting for somebody to join. Okay, if you've just tuned in and you don't know what Civitai is, maybe you've randomly clicked this stream or found a recording with a nice title or a graphic that drew you in, or you just saw it on our homepage. We're a quite large platform for the creation and sharing of AI-generated art and videos and tools to make them. We've got millions of users on site, along with nearly 100,000 users in our community Discord, which is accessible at discord.gg/Civitai. If you're watching this on Twitch or any of our social media sync streams, come check out civitai.com and the Discord. And I have my notes where it said currently we stream twice a week. Now, currently we stream once a week. Myself doing the creative community streams on Fridays. If you're on Twitch, you can see on the calendar there. It should be on the Civitai official Discord as well. We are trying a new time slot for this because a lot of my guests are either East Coast or international, and it's kind of tough to get them away from dinner, or, in the case of some, it's like midnight out in Europe. We may increase the frequency of these streams and make them shorter. Kind of depends on feedback and how many, people watch. And, if you haven't seen my profile before, I'll link it in chat anyways. Yeah, see, now I can double up my own streams. I am Cale or KF Tiger. I'm Civitai's social media manager and streamer at this point. So this stream is actually going to be, I may be joined by one or two individuals that are moderators on the site, kind of join and make it so I'm not just talking to myself, but I see you all in chat, so that kind of helps too. But this stream is kind of a mixed one, which is going to be some, a bit of office hours, a bit of platform updates. Unfortunately, I had a guest lined up, but couldn't make it due to, a family commitment. But I will highlight his profile. Still want to stream with him. Just Halo Knight. So we were going to go over one of his new weapon pose concepts and how he made it for Illustrious. But that's not this week. Hopefully in the next few weeks we'll be able to do that, because if you haven't already followed Halo Knight, I do recommend it. check out his profile. But he's made, let me just make sure I've got my settings right. Okay, good. He's made, exceptional, how many models has he made? 120 models on Civitai with lots of creative weapons, lots of interesting poses, some funny ones too. He's joined the humor side now, where we've made some funny models. Now, I'm not sure where you would want us to notify. We did change the calendar around. Didn't put out an announcement because the stream's a little disconnected from that. Yeah, and if you haven't seen Halo Knight's profile before, definitely go check it out. I'm really hopeful in the next week or two we'll be able to do that stream because he had a really cool pose, Laura. So kind of more onto some news pieces. I'm not sure if you've seen it on the site yet, but partly as a replacement of the office hours streams, though I'm likely, especially if I go to more of a 2 stream a week schedule, I'll probably have Ali on as a guest. He seemed to really enjoy being a guest on the CivChan stream. So, but right now we've got a new updates feed, which is our improvement of communication on the site because there's a lot going on. Hopefully more updates over time than incidents, but right now, there's some generation issues and there's been some slowdown this week, as well as some training issues. But I'm going to link this in chat as well. This is, it's, well, not in the smaller window, but it's here under updates on the bar. It'll light up anytime there's something new. But this is a new way of communicating out, any sort of updates, whether we add a model, whether we, run into an incident, whether we put out a bug fix, something like that. It's so we can communicate more, quickly, more efficiently, and have kind of one source of truth. So, instead of kind of mixed messages around, this will be where that information will be. Yeah, that actually would be a good, I like that one. It would be good to have some sort of, ticker at the top of time before without incident, and see how many hours that goes. But at least it's a way for us to show, hey, this is what we're aware of, this is what we're working on. And, I know the devs are all in voice chat right now. I'm just working on a lot of these things. So, yeah, there's still going to be announcements for the major pieces, such as, events, any sort of large impacting part. But unfortunately, and I'll just say it, the comments became very toxic. We do, we're okay with backlash. We're okay with, feedback, whether positive or negative. But once it starts getting into threats and everything like that, it's tough to keep updating. So next up, there's the lights, camera, action. This contest closed. So hopefully, we're going through, I believe there was over 1,000 submissions onto this contest. So we've been going through them, and we're hoping next week to get some results. Oh yeah, Allie's good. Oh, sorry. Speaking of Allie, this is my cat, Allie, with the same name. So anytime I've yelled at her, I've tried to make sure Allie knows I'm not yelling at him. So going through all the contest results from the lights, camera, action contest. And we'll hopefully have some news for that next week. There was over 1,000 entries, which was really awesome to see. Yeah, this is the new office hours host. She doesn't have much to say, but she will sit on my lap for probably a big part of this stream. Another update that came out, the Knights of the New Order. So this is currently accessible to subscribers. It's kind of a testing phase. It might show up here if you've seen it, Knights of New. This is more the replacement of the previous rating game. So kind of the evolution of that. where users can go in, and luckily I can't see any, none are showing up, but it's a way for users to be able to help with some of the moderation tasks, being able to rate images and be part of, helping out with image ratings. There is a whole about side. I'll link the education page to it. I'm not sure what the current timeline is for launching this out for everybody. It's just kind of in more of an extended. I tested it on stream before. I knew it was going to show nothing. So I had been warned and I checked. So take a look at that, read about it. They're working through some of the bugs and kinks on that. And hopefully that'll be launched out to all users shortly. A new model. So, kind of two new models since I didn't stream last week. There is one new image model, which is OpenAI's GPT Image 1. This is not the stream to ask about the new TOS. This is more on the creative side. I'd recommend the Discord server for that. Or to email support@civitai.com. So the first new model added on the site, I'll just highlight the message, but I also don't really recommend the Reddit. We don't monitor it nearly as much. Discord, you're more likely to get a quick response. Subreddit, it's more I've seen as a place to share models. If it's a basic question, Discord is probably the best way. Demian can, which I'm glad he could join in on the stream, can, better answer that question. So back to this. One of the new models that has been set up recently is OpenAI's GPT Image 1, which is, it's an API model, so it's not open source, but it's got different, it's very good with text, and it has 3 image quality levels you can use on site. I've used it for a lot of jokes. You can make a lot of fake tutorials. You can use it to make realistic images. Video training is something I will bring up as well. So it's in the creator. There is 3. You choose your aspect ratio. You can choose your quality, whether it be low, medium, or high. High costs 375 buzz for an image, which is very expensive. But if you're looking to do something very text heavy, it's pretty awesome and replicate styles. Personally, I recommend medium for most things. I've made a lot of images with quite a bit of text. If you see some of the humorous images I've posted, this is all done with medium. And, it may have messed up one word, monster, but otherwise it got the text quite nice. It's great at replicating styles, as Rain mentioned. Like I said, medium is really good for, most text things. If you need a lot of text, high is good. Low, if you're just making a picture, it's good. I wouldn't try anything with text, but it is only 25 buzz an image. So if I did something like a tutorial for taking care of your pet tiger, we'll go portrait. Try a medium one, and we'll try a high one. I'll link that model in chat as well in case anybody hasn't seen it yet. But I said it's an API model. It is closed source through OpenAI, but I think with the options of the low and medium quality, it's not bad for the buzz. So like this one was done with low quality. You can see it did okay on the images, but the text is quite nonsensical. Now the medium one, for 100 buzz, this did quite nice. The text is legible, the images are legible. And then this is the high quality one, so 375 buzz. So it does really good on text and everything. And it's pretty much always consistent, but it costs a lot of buzz. The other option this has is image to image. So if you wanted to throw in a logo and we'll put it back to medium, but it might not work right now. Yeah, okay, so there's an issue with image to image happening right now, which had happened before. Hopefully the team's aware of that, or I'll reach out to them after. But you should be able to image as well. I've done a few pictures using that. I'm not sure if they're in my generator. Some didn't work out. Some. Yeah, okay, so these are ones I did yesterday with, didn't post these, and obviously these energy drink cans are kind of like Red Bull. It doesn't actually give you wings. This doesn't actually prevent crashing. But these ones all used the Civitai logo as part of the prompt. Like a Civitai energy drink featuring this logo and color set. The crazy and wild design and slogan prevents crashing. So it's really good for that kind of stuff. If you want to make a t-shirt with a logo, or, put a picture of your face on something, or your dog, whatever you want. It is, censored, so don't try anything not safe for work. It doesn't work. Now we've also added a new video model. So this I wasn't sure at first, but it's quite an interesting one. This is Vidu's Q1, which, Vidu, let's see if I can pull up their website. They're kind of a lesser known video model, and I've used their previous one, like version 1.5 and version 2, wasn't that great, but they've come out with a Q1 model, which is quite good, which does text to video, image to video, and image to video with a start point and an end point. And you can pick your aspect ratio, or if you do image to video, it pulls from the images you put in. You can choose whether it be general style for realism or whatever, 3D, or animation. And you can choose your movement amplitude, which is how much during the video everything should move around, which you can either set to auto or all the way up to large. And right now, it's kind of an introductory promotion for it. It's cheaper than Kling, which is 600. It's 500 buzz for text to video and 400 buzz for image to video, which, for video generation is pretty good. So here is, I've set up a collection of videos that some of us have made using Q1. I'll link this in the chat too, but take a look at some of these videos that we made. These are all using Q1, whether it be some in text to video and some in image to video. This is an image to video one. But it's very high resolution. I believe it's full 1080p. You get 5 seconds out of it. And honestly, the motion is really good, and it doesn't fall apart like a lot of other models. The hands are good. The motion's good. It holds together throughout the whole, 5 seconds. This one's text to video. I'm just trying to recreate the dogs playing poker. Has a few funny pieces to it, like the dog with a dual-ended cigar and the visor over the eyes, but considering this is just text to video from a prompt. And this was the stream preview for today. That was the Halo Knight model we were going to talk about. This one I made of a scary monster under the bed. But the quality of the video is just, Kling can't do this. Except maybe Kling 2.0, but I think, the API cost on that would make the videos something like 1,800 buzz each. So, not there yet. Yeah, and I wouldn't be talking about it so much. Well, we're hopefully going to have kind of a contest for it too, following the Lights, Camera, Action contest. It's kind of something we're working on and hoping to launch in hopefully next week. But the reason I promote it now isn't because of that, but it's just because it's actually good. Like, the video quality is good, the price as well. Like, it's nice to see another company come out with something that is, competitive. And open source models I hope to see, more improvements on too. Does really good with anime styles. Who's that tiger surfing one? Yeah, so I did the tiger surfing one as realism based. And I also did the same thing for anime style using the animation mode. At the very end, it kind of falls apart a little bit, but otherwise it's very consistent. Yeah, Lightrix isn't bad for certain purposes too. It's it's nice to see new options, on the more premium side. So hopefully more to come on that, but give it a try. The introductory price is there. Somebody mentioned that video training. There are some updates going on for that right now for Juan and Hanwan. I'm hoping next week to bring somebody on who's an expert on training in Hanwan and Juan. I'm not sure if he's watching right now, but if you're watching, I'm still counting on you next week. But I haven't trained many myself, and it sounds like the trainers had some hiccups, of course, but it sounds like a lot of that's been worked out now, so I'm hoping this weekend and next week I'll be training up some models myself. So going through articles and seeing what else is cool and new, because honestly, sometimes I don't feel I have enough time to go do all that. But this one seemed really interesting from a user I follow, was an audio reactive video animator. I've not had a chance to really go in and try this out. I'll link it in chat, the article. But the audio reactive video stuff is really cool. I know this user Control Delete has been, working on refining this to the point where I guess it's ready. It's on GitHub. They have examples of video outputs here, which I can show you, but you're not going to hear much audio. So give that one a try. Like, if you like the audio reactive stuff, which is, the video reacting to whatever audio input you put in, check it out. The second guest apart from Halo Knight. Well, I did have somebody from potentially the moderation team to join in, just as kind of a nice second person to chat with, so I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. But I'm okay with that too. I'm not crazy, I swear. But next week, like I said, I hope to have somebody on who's an expert in Wan and Hanwan video training, or at least I consider them to be because I followed their tutorials. And then the week after, I'm hoping to have a high-profile guest. Another interesting one I've seen posted is that Joy Caption Beta 1 is out. If anybody's used Joy Caption before, it's really good for captioning images, and you can input your image, pick what kind of description you want, whether it be just a regular description or if you want a tag list. Additional options, but it sounds like the new versions that's come out. Give the article a check. Good articles, authors for illustrious generations. I mean, not off the top of my head right now. Actually, there is one. I will highlight Schmid, who is a friend of mine, but he has made a lot of models recently of concepts for illustrious. You Died, a cat launcher gun, bee grenade. He's made a lot of concepts, characters, styles, and I think he's got articles on how he's trained some of these. Yeah, so he's synthesized training data using ChatGPT and GPT for illustrious prompting. So I can link that. Check out some of his articles because his stuff's always good. And he usually does a very in-depth look through each thing. Yeah, so how he generated everything to make this character. So I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but definitely recommend it. And the model seems to have come out quite nice. Yeah, following Schmid is definitely worth it because he does some interesting stuff. Oh, we've got Yuritaku here. Hey,
Hello,
again.
folks.
Nice to see you.
So, how much did I miss?
About half. Good timing. But we're just kind of going through, kind of more site updates, including the updates update, which I'll highlight again. Definitely. You don't really have to follow it. It's there. Whenever something pops up, hopefully we'll see more updates and features instead of incidents. But, at the very least, you're seeing incidents now. It's not just coming up as, hey, what's going on? This is a way we can be a lot more proactive and reactive whenever something happens as well. Somewhere, when we put out a new model like OpenAI or the Q1 V2 model, we're not going to put in a full announcement for every single model or everything we do, especially as we ramp it up. So this is a good place to start putting out some of these smaller updates.
Yeah. Regularly updated on Fridays, of course.
Yeah. Updated an hour ago. It's quite timely. Things are fixed. Yeah. For those who haven't seen the guest that joined on, this is Yuritaku, who is, I forget what's your official title. Like, do you have an official title or?
I think content moderator is more or less the title. Yeah.
Fair enough. We did briefly show the Knights of New. Good. Still doesn't have anything there, but I know it's open to subscribers right now, and it's kind of the update of the rating game. And I don't think there's a whole lot of content in there quite yet because it's kind of more like a testing phase, from my understanding. Kind of not fully open, but subscriber open testing phase.
Yep.
But and I'm not sure what the timeline is for rolling it out for all users, but we'll keep you updated on updates.
Yep.
So do you have any
Ah,
updates or any more info on that side? I know you're probably more connected in with that.
I have no idea how many days we still want to wait, but we want to still iron out some issues that we still have
Mhm.
before we let everyone on the site into the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like well, I mean, not exactly a beta test, but kind of a partly open test. So, oh, there's a nice comment. Thanks, Pyrofox. Somebody enjoys using Civitai and generations turn out well. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. Yeah, a new face on stream, Yuritaku. Can't believe it. But he's kind of the go-to. Cosmic Crafter may also join in,
Yeah.
but because this was just more of a the original guest couldn't make it due to family commitments, so it's more of a partly office hours. But I do have a tutorial to go through as well. It's not going to take too long, but it's something that has been quite requested. So maybe I should do that now. So the tutorial. Sorry, just 1 second. The tutorial. This is something that's been probably brought up the most, and I kind of did this on stream with Tyler before. But it's how to make an AI model or character or avatar of yourself, or
Oh,
it could be your pet or something else.
have we changed the character preview image?
Yeah, that was one of those things. I think Ali put that update in, and then it was funny because I heard about it from somebody else. So it's always nice to hear about site updates you don't know about until
Yeah,
somebody from the sites lets you
that's
know.
awesome.
Yeah. So
Really?
as far as I'll go into it then. As far as training a model kind of on yourself, or it could be your cat. That's what I did on Tyler's stream. Tyler did his own model. Right now, I'll show you. I did make a model of myself. I'm not posting that. No plans to. I'm not like Tyler. I'm not going to risk that. Although, if I see my face, you could probably make one. I would recommend you don't and request you don't. But I will show some pictures of myself as part of showing how to train an AI avatar using Flux. So if you go to the trainer, which you go through Create, Train Allura, you get this page where you can choose image or video, which still haven't trained much for video myself, but under image, you want to pick character because you're training a character, which in this case will be myself. So you want to name the model, in which case I'll do Cale Flux Test. I also don't recommend you name your models Test if you're going to post it, because that won't be appreciated by some of the moderators. You have to go through the acknowledgement. If it depicts the likeness of a real person, who's not a public figure, I am either that person or have obtained clear explicit consent from that person and their likeness to be used in the model. Yes, I consent to using my own images in this case. So I can check this. So I've just got a few pictures I've set up, not great ones, but you don't need many pictures. You just need, a bit of variety, a bit of different angles, somewhat clear, kind of a nice mix. They don't have to be the same aspect ratio. They don't have to be, high resolution or anything. Just some sort of nice mix. So I've got 5 pictures, which you can train a model off 5, but it would be recommended probably to train them more off 20 or 30 images. But for this case, I'm just going to hope the auto captioner can handle 5. So these are 5 pictures of me, from a year ago. So I had better mustache then, and maybe I'll grow it back out. But,
Nice.
so the easy way to caption these, like some people put in the trigger word, you can put it in there, or you can just go without. But the way I recommend it is to go into auto label, switch it over to caption.
What's in the pan there? What were you cooking?
Hmm?
What were you
I
cooking
forget.
there in that image in the middle?
I don't recall. I can zoom in. I can zoom in once this goes through. So I usually set up the max tokens just to make a longer description for each one. You don't need to necessarily. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, oh, guess what? Yeah, maybe eggs. Well, no, I can't. Oh, I can zoom in. What was it? Oh, it did tag. Okay. Yeah, it looks like eggs and some sort of sauce back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the pictures I picked for this one do have that smirk. I'm not actually going to train that model. The other pictures I have, other people like my smile. I don't like my smile. Other people like my voice. I don't like my own voice. But,
No?
nah. Have you ever listened to yourself? Like, I don't think anybody likes to.
Really?
Yeah, we should do cooking with Civitai streams. But
Yeah, totally.
anyways, so now we have 5 pictures with captions. And you can see it says photograph of man with a distinctive appearance, fair skin tone, short beard, etc. Flux would actually be pretty good with this. But the way I usually like to do it is add in a keyword, but I don't usually put it in the trigger word part. I'll actually put it here and say, this is a photograph of a man named Cale. You can take away, everything else like the fair skin tone, short beard, and the mustache if, you're planning on keeping that as yourself no matter what. But if you leave that in, Flux doesn't care too much. So in this case, photograph captures a man named Cale giving a thumbs up in a modern kitchen. Photograph of a man named Cale sitting in a cozy kitchen, taken from a selfie angle. So if you do that to each picture, it'll actually, Flux and captioning luckily will take on some of the lighting stuff, and take on the clothes so that you can generate yourself in different styles and ways from there. And I'll fill in the blanks on these ones. Named Cale. Man named Cale. And it might take a few minutes to go through and pick that out. But if you got 20 or 30 pictures, it might take 2-3 minutes just to find out where it says a man. Oh man, there's some of these. That's you. You can speak up. Some of these, I don't think any of these had one, but some of them are like a middle-aged man or like an older man or something like that. But that gets sad when it's like that. Short dark hair and a beard, dressed in light gray. Yep, okay. But that should be enough to actually set up your model. If you say you own the rights to all these files, in which case I do. So then you get into the trainer section. In which case, by default, it'll be on SDXL, which is not what you want. But luckily it says you have caption files, and this works well with tags. What you want to do is click on Flux Dev, and that'll make sure you lose that warning error. And this is what you want to use for training a model on yourself that's both accurate and takes only a few images to do. In this case, we've got these drop-down advanced settings. While the model trains, you can use this. Like, you could do a man named Cale walking a golden dog. A man named Cale cooking eggs on the stove. And as it goes through the training epochs, you'll be able to see as it goes along if it looks more and more like yourself or when it kind of loses track of that. And yeah, I might have to train one of these and show the results. Right now I don't have one trained on myself, but I might be able to go through the one I did for my cat. But under training...
Mamizuki suggested Cale transforming into a tiger.
That would be good with a video model.
I mean, yeah, but still, Flux will be able to at least show you partly as a tiger.
you can anthropomorphize yourself with Flux. I will show you some examples of ones I did with the actual model I trained of myself. After under training parameters, for training a model on yourself, I don't think you really actually need to mess with any of this. So I'd leave that alone. Normally for some.
One question. Have you tested different resolution settings for these trainings?
I have.
What were
And
your findings between 512 and 1024 training?
I've done most in 512. That's
Okay.
partly because the training batch size will, I believe, lower if you go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'll batch size it down, to 2, which means only 2 can train at a time. But I haven't, depending on what you're trying to train, for complex models, and I'm sure there's somebody more knowledgeable on the subject that could answer this better, but I haven't found a lot of difference for most styles or character models. Concepts, I found some changes, but Flux is honestly quite good at low resolution training.
Okay.
So
I had some issues at 512 with human anatomy. I had more body limb salad in my model when I trained it at 512.
Oh, interesting. Like just a character type model, or
My tomboys for Flux model. Is it
yeah,
a concept model? I think.
yeah. I mean, in that case, maybe the resolution would be more a matter. But the model I trained on myself before that worked. And I'll show some example images. And I did post 2 on Discord. That came out quite nice. And most of the styles I've done for Flux have been 512 as well.
Mm. And how many steps do you recommend?
I mean, usually when I do one of these, I'll usually set it up to around 20 epics, just to kind of get around the 1000 for Flux.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it takes half that. It's just, it costs 2,000 buzz to train a Flux model at 20 epics or 5. So usually what I do is bump up the number until it starts charging you more. Okay, so at 30 epochs, it bumps up. So I'd probably go with 25, but as it goes through the training steps, you probably find in this case, probably around 5 or 10 is all it takes. So around probably the 600 to 800 steps for Flux. For something like Illustrious, more definitely helps. But Flux, I mean, chances are the first or third epoch would be enough, like to make a model of yourself. You'd probably want to go for 5, 7, 9 or something like that to be, even tighter, but like closer to yourself. We could probably get away with 1 or 3. But if you're training on site, you might as well bump it up and see how far it goes. And there is, I mean, can't talk too much on that yet. I know the private generation is something that is in the works, or it's, for certain models, I think if you train the model, you can generate off of it. But, for a real person model, that's not there yet. It is something they want to put together so that you can do something like train a model of yourself and generate pictures of yourself that you don't have to post to the website. A comment of that I should ban myself. I mean, that's up to you guys, I guess. But this is a real person, Laura, but it's not adult. If I posted adult pictures of myself, then yeah, no. So that would be enough to set it to training. Although if there's any questions,
what about different optimizers? Have you tested different ones?
In the case of Flux, no, I haven't tried. as well, honestly, with Lustras, I haven't either.
Mhm.
I'm kind of I guess, not the scientist, not exactly the artist either. I'm kind of, hey, let's try a few things, see what works best and what works best for me. Luckily with Flux, I mean, I'm sure there's some wrong answers, but it's tough to find the wrong answer. I'm sure the other optimizers would work. I just don't know the settings that would work best. And, other people have opinions of which ones would be better as well. Things like resolution, what network dim. Sometimes I will turn this up, to capture more data into it. For a character, 2's usually been fine. Showing off how to train I like this one. Am I training a new model? Yes. Well, I'm not actually going to send it to training, but showing how to make a model, an AI avatar of yourself. Or, in case I've done, let's see if I can find the pictures here. I did a model of my cat as well. Which, well, I mean, you can look at the training data is here. But that's a model I've actually posted. This is actually a model, doesn't have to be yourself. You can train a model after your pet. So, here's some of the pictures that I used. Well, I mean, the cat's sitting over there. You probably can't see. But here's some of the pictures that were used to train this model. Like different pictures, different poses, angles, some not so flattering. But 20 or 30 pictures of the subject. And as you can see, it turned out well. Like, this is usable on site, with not safe for work limited. So don't try it. But these pictures were all generated using that model. I mean, I could just pick up my cat and show her. Yeah, as well. It's right here. So you can compare and see if this looks like this cat. Kind of looks like her, right?
Kind of.
She's not happy about that, by the way. But yeah.
Make her dance.
Yeah, you can use I mean, I think I showed off the video collection before.
Nice.
But there's a few. This is all the Q1 generations that we've made. There's at least one or two of, yeah. So this is a video using video Q1 of my cat. And I don't think you were on the stream at that point, but I showed off the video Q1 model. And I'll talk a little bit about that again. But
cool.
There's another one in here. Yeah. Pipe smoking one.
Yeah.
So, and this picture costs, this video costs $400. So,
not bad.
I don't know if I can, I can't remix it from there, but to show that off, the video Q1 model, it's in generation now. We've got a starting preview price for it of $500 for text to video and $400 for image to video, which you can do either just with a starting image.
So that's already live?
It is live. It's in the updates feed, but not too much posted about it. I mean, maybe I can break a rule. Sometimes you have to refresh it because it just doesn't work the first time. All right, there's a picture of me. In which case, I won't post that there, but man giving thumbs up while food cooks on the stove. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Hydream, I'll highlight that one. But Hydream is in the works for coming on site. I don't have timeline or anything, but I know it's actively, being put onto the staging site.
Yep. One of our devs is working day and night.
Anyways, to finish off this one of the model I've trained on myself, the actual model I trained had about 20 pictures of myself. And here's some of the good thing with these models, especially with Flux, is that right now, it works for local generation only, so you can download and run it off your own computer. Private generation for a likeness hopefully will be coming, so that you can train and generate using your own likeness on site. That's something they're working on. But here's a few pictures in different settings and themes that I made using the model of myself. So, a wonderful wizard picture, PC98 pixel style.
Not bad.
This one I think was Rayman Legends style. This was like the Metal Gear Solid style. This one I think was like Punch Out Wii.
Wow. Flux is so damn good at capturing the necessary details of a concept.
I forget which style this was. And then, this picture I've used on a few things because, hey, it's actually not bad. Although I should grow my hair out a little longer again. Yeah, the cool thing with this is you can test clothing on yourself. You can try all sorts of interesting stuff with your own model. The only thing right now is that you'd have to do it locally.
Clothing.
I believe you can. If you've trained the model and you're okay with putting your likeness out there, I believe it's okay to put your own model up for generation. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but Tyler did so.
But not on the generator.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have.
Of course, only
for local.
Only locally. Yeah, but when we talk about clothes.
Oh, okay. You might have taken that model off, or it's somewhere in here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Anyway, you were saying.
Wasn't there a Civitai bikini Laura for Flux?
Yeah, there is one. That is not something I've tried out.
Yeah, and we wouldn't show it anyways.
Yeah,
even if we did.
Yeah, that would fall under somewhat not safe for work, especially if it's my own stuff. Then that would be very not safe for work. Yeah. LinkedIn profile picture. That is actually my LinkedIn profile picture, that one. Because I thought it's a good demo.
By the way, great model. The Requiem for a Dream.
The new version. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess it's highlighted right there. I haven't made too many models lately. It's been busy with all this other stuff at Civitai. And trying out some of the other models. So it's been kind of fun in a different way. But yeah, you can test clothing out on yourself. You can try different styles. Like, it is, pretty limitless what you can do. And High Dream, I'm looking forward to, because I'll train a model of myself on that too and see how different it is. All right. If you're on Twitch, you can deal with that one. Let's see how that video turned out. No mods on? Okay. Anyways. So that video, not a lot of animation there.
Oh, it's enough.
But it did it. You can also, this is a different feature that I haven't seen on any other video model, but it has movement amplitude, which is controlling the scale of camera movements and subject actions. So we could actually turn that up to large and see how much more motion happens in that one. And And while that loads, I'll show the collection and link it through. But if you want to see some of the videos we've created and shared using Q1, these are a lot of image to video ones that I made using some of the pictures I've made in the last year. Question of, does Vdoo allow not safe for work? I don't believe so, no. I have not actually tested that, but I assume it's a closed model that it would not. Yeah. For TOS, you not post those videos of yourself, the site. What would the answer to that one be? Are you able to post a picture or a video of yourself to the site? I mean, I would think it's okay. It's safe for work. It's my own likeness. It's clothed. Would I post it? Probably not. I don't really want that, but Restream isn't posting messages.
Yeah, but it's not a violation of our terms of service. You are totally allowed to post safe for work stuff of real persons.
Let me see if I can send that message out. Hopefully that goes through. Which Restream's a little different than. Scheduled a video with Vdoo, but it says it'll start generating tomorrow. Should hopefully go quicker than that. But it is new, and since we posted it and shared it around, it might be scaling up, but it definitely shouldn't take that. This is not a stream for terms of service discussions. This is creative stream. Feel free to, probably Discord's the best way.
Yep.
And I mean, I'll take one more chance to show while it's generating. Okay, so that message did go through. Good to know. That we do have this, let's see if I can share it with both. I recommend checking out okay, that one went to YouTube as well. Good. The changelog is the new updates page for everything going on the website. Whether it be, I made the joke already, but hopefully less incidents and more updates and more features, but at least, it's a place for us to show what's going on. This week, there has been some image generation issues, just because one of the data centers went down. I believe a lot of that's been resolved now, but still not at 100% capacity. The real important question, does Vdoo generate Shrek by itself? I haven't tried it. Feel free. You can do image to video. I'm sure that'll work, but text to video, we can try one for you. So this other video finished up. So this was using auto amplitude, so it kind of decides how much movement there should be in the image to video. This one's using large, so it should have more movement. Where apparently I sniff my thumb before I give a thumbs up. Which Civitai video generation allows not safe for work? That would be Wan and Hanwan, because those ones are open source and running on local hardware on Civitai as opposed to all the API models.
Yep. Everything else that's sent to an API,
of
course.
Loot generator wouldn't do what I want, which is potatoes at Helm's Deep dying the fortress. OpenAI is very interesting on certain things it doesn't want to do. There's a few. I mean, you cannot generate anything with Mario or Sonic. A lot of copyrighted stuff gets absolutely blocked. It's been fun to push the limits of it to see what kind of concepts it gets away with, but don't try anything copyright. Like, I
Yeah.
might see Helm's Deep and say, hey, I'm not going to do that because, yeah, you can get away with it with stuff like that. A plumber wearing a red hat with a mustache probably would get away with that.
Original
anyways-
character did not steal.
Yeah, with an M on the hat, maybe an upside down W on the hat. Yeah. So I mean, while we wait for the video, we're kind of wrapping up. If there's any other questions in chat, and as well feedback. You know, this is a different time slot. It's a little earlier. Looks like we've got about the same amount of viewers. You know, even though we haven't. You know, this is the first one in this time slot, but I'm hoping it's better for more of the East Coast and, you know, international viewers to be able to tune in. You know, the office hours stream is, you know, no longer a thing at this time, being replaced by the updates feed. You know, but hopefully I'll have Ali on as a guest, you know, at times to talk about new features and stuff like that. And I might go up to, you know, 2 times a week streaming. Maybe I'll make a cooking stream. That was requested, right? That would be popular. All right. So out of 1 feedback, 1 says this time slot's better. Can we speak about Noob AI? Not on this one. You know, we will be doing Illustrious and Noob AI streams. No, originally this one was going to be an Illustrious stream, but the guest couldn't make it. You know, I will highlight his profile again because, you know, it wasn't because he wanted to bail. It's because he had good reason. And I mean, that's partly why I changed the stream time as well. He's in Sweden, so this would be midnight at the normal time. So 10 o'clock now, I believe. But check out Halo Knight's profile. Like, he makes a lot of cool weapon and concept loras for Illustrious. So, you know, he put together the start of like a presentation on how to train, you know, a concept model. So I was really excited, and hopefully I can get him on next week or the week after, because he's got some pretty cool models and funny ones too. Which I'm not sure if, I mean, he used to make very serious models and very deep fantasy stuff. But I'm thinking we may have affected him with brain rot because some of his recent models are like bee bombs and chicken gun, stuff like that, which are great. Including advertisements for the new Doom.
Nice.
Is this time the new norm? I think, well, depending on what the feedback is, I think it might be. You know, it seems to be a better time for most people. You know, on the East Coast, it's about 3 o'clock as opposed to 5 o'clock. And, you know, for anybody international, it's not quite midnight. But we'll check the video. We'll start wrapping up. We'll see how this one turned out. If there's any other questions. Scandinavia approves of this new time slot. Okay, we're good with that. Still trying. Still working.
Nah, come on. Give everything.
Full retro wave style fine tune, yeah. Yeah, you should share the video. I mean, I guess you can't post it in chat, but
Go. You can do
take
it.
a refresh. There it is.
Yeah,
oh, okay. We have our answer. So we can do Shrek.
And he is eating an onion in the swamp.
In the swamp. So the video quality is there. The prompt adhesion is there. It's very good.
really nice. Is it better at realistic content or
I guess it's actually quite good at
quality, right?
both. But it
Yeah.
has, if you're doing text to video, it has an animation toggle.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do one more. I keep saying that, one more.
Ah, there's a toggle for general animation.
Yeah. So
Nice.
general, I think, does realism or 3D styles.
Mm-hmm.
Animation, I believe you can prompt it to say like anime style or Western cartoon style, but focuses on animation styles. Just one more chip. Yeah. But at first I was kind of hesitant because, hey, a new model from kind of an unknown player. And honestly, Vidu's last model wasn't that great. I tried it, but from all the examples I've made of this, like, it's good. Like, the video quality is good. The hands don't fall apart. There's a little funny part where, you can kind of see a foot maybe here, but yeah. Hey, if you want to overflow Civet with Shrek video, we're okay. We're set up to probably handle that. This is an API model, so it's not actually taking generation on site.
Yeah.
The mushrooms in the background are quite cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. In general, the detail is really nice.
Yeah. We're hopeful to have something, early next week on Video Q1 because we have been working with them. But say for some animation content,
Hmm.
like this is image to video, which you can't choose animation or general, but it sees animation and goes with an animation style.
Yeah.
Or like this one, which was kind of realism, but based off origami, napkin origami. This one, which
Not
was
bad.
based off kind of pixel art, PC98 style, but even has kind of the lower frame rate for it. This one from my Yellow Submarine style. This one just Ultros in bed. Like, the toughest limitation this model has is that it's limited right now to 5 seconds because it
Yeah.
feels like all the good stuff is just about to happen.
Yeah.
This one of kind of the punch out for Super Nintendo Bender. Animation's a bit too smooth for Super Nintendo, but
Yeah, but it gets the idea across.
the other cool thing is you don't really need to prompt it much, especially in image to video. You can either leave it empty or give it just slight direction. Still generating. This was a text to video of a dragon eating pizza. I do keep all the props in there, so you can remix if you want. But that one went with more of a 3D style.
Not bad. Wow, look at the cheese.
The thing with this is, like, the stream preview, and why I've linked the collection as well, is you can't see the full quality of this, but it's high quality. Like Nightmare Before Christmas style animation. I think Faye made this one, yeah. The reflection's a little off, but it tried. How we doing there? Still generating. So you attempt to extend videos using the last frame as a start. I haven't yet, but that's actually one of the things I want to do, because you can take just the last frame, and this one does first frame, last frame if you want to do that way, but you can also take that last frame and make something new. This is another Ultros, yeah, the enemy from Final Fantasy VI. That is also my avatar. pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Lego, it actually did good with Lego too. There's not a lot that was able to stump it. This one I thought was really impressive, which was just text to video, but of a cowboy in a saloon. You know, the shadows are a little off because of the sun, but the quality and animation are just great. Again, it feels like something's going to happen on the 6, 7, 8 second that you can't see.
It likes to tease.
Okay, okay. Didn't do. Maybe I should have said anime style, but kind of kept it to animation of, and that's kind of more. Yeah, I guess still an onion. So perhaps if you said anime style or Western animation style, it might do that, but I left it blank.
Although the especially the environment is definitely CGI.
Oh yeah,
More the CGI style.
he does quite love that onion.
Yeah.
And perhaps there might be something in there. If you prompt Shrek, it might see Shrek as being a 3D character. I haven't tested enough to know how it works with characters. I didn't even know certain characters were built in. Good to know. So I think we're going to start wrapping up because we're a few minutes over, well, almost 15 minutes over, but we've been having fun. But if there's any last questions in chat before we wrap up for this Friday, I think we will keep this time slot. It seems quite popular. I'll link my. It is kind of a big garlic, yeah. Feel free.
One question I do have.
Sure.
Do you plan on having a later stream then with the guest you wanted to have today?
Not today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it due to
not
family
today,
matter.
of course.
But no, I'll probably keep it, to this time slot in general. It seems to be better for any kind of guests. I'm on kind of the earliest time zone here in Pacific time because it's only 2:15 now. But it's been anytime I've tried to organize guests that are either East Coast or international. On the East Coast, the regular time slot would be like dinner. So, and for anybody internationally or Scandinavian, European, they're either getting drunk or sleeping. So
okay, nice.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll wrap up because
Sony, see no questions.
True. Okay, yeah, you're right. Tyler, I think, is few hours. What time is it in Hawaii?
I think it's at the moment really 12 hours away from me.
Oof. Okay, so they're 3 hours. Yeah, okay, you're right, fell dude. So that must have been really tough for him to organize guests. I guess easy for him to. Yeah, either really easy or really difficult. Can I foreshadow a theme for the next stream? I can. I'm hoping to do a stream on Juan and Hanwan video training. I've got a guest lined up for next week that is, has written a number of articles about it. And, I haven't tested it out enough myself. So this will be the good opportunity for me to try training a few. It sounds like they're working on a couple of fixes on the Juan training side. So I think it'll be, should be a good one. Of course, I'm not going to promote and say, hey, I think it's going to be a bad stream. No, it should be a good one. Right on. So thanks again for joining me, Yuritaku. Always nice to have another face to talk to instead of, just myself or chat, though chat's active, so it's nice.
Yeah.
But I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Have some fun training some models, generating some images and videos. You can try out the OpenAI model if you want for images, make some funny memes, try out the Vidu Q1.
Yeah, don't forget to flood the site with Shrek images and videos.
Test every model with Shrek. Make sure it works. But
totally.
we can let Vidu know that it passed the Shrek test. Right on. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye.